This is Jackie with All Access, and we're checking ourselves out here, and you can as well with Anberlin. Oh, are you all right? New tattoo.
New tattoo. Yep. So he punched me so hard. It's a Band-Aid. So it hurts so bad.
What did you get inked?
Well, I'm getting like a traditional bluebird up here. So I'm gonna get two, but only one is done. But it looks like I just had surgery or something. So. Oh, I'm getting this right here, bear tooth, underneath it. Yep.
Yeah, you probably couldn't hear any of that, huh?
Little bear tooth love. It's all good. It's all good. There we go. See, talking about tattoos, I get all sorts of confused. You guys have been a band since 2002. It's been a while.
Yes.
What do you attribute to your band's longevity?
Being friends. I think that's what it's all about. Like, I mean, I don't think without that we would be a band this long. I mean, because a lot of bands, because you have to understand that you spend the majority of your life, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sometimes months on end together. So if you can't be friends, you might as well, it's just going to be a rough road.
True. Agreed.
Agreed. Better be friends. You're stuck with them. Your final album, Lowborn, came out on the 22nd of this month. What caused the delay of the release?
Oh, man, good question. About a lot of lawyers, a lot of people that a lot of suits. Not a lot of tattoos, a lot of suits.
Suits shouldn't get involved in rock and roll. That's silly.
Agreed. Again.
You're so agreeable. No wonder why it's easy to be friends with him.
It's all bunch yes men. What do you?
Yes or no? I'll tell you if I disagree. But
Okay, fair enough. Well, you seem very agreeable, though. So you guys have decided to, this is your final album. This is the start of your last tour. How come?
Well, again, a lot of things. I think, for us, we just, 12 years is a really long time, and I think we just kind of said everything that we've wanted to say at this point. And 7 albums is insane. I mean, I remember thinking even just having a few albums would be a ton. So, it's just time. We feel like we wanted to wrap up why it was still in our control and under our own terms. So, yeah, I think that, the best way to say is we've just done and said everything that we've wanted to say at this point, so.
Very wise words. Are you agreeable?
Agreeable.
That's good. So this sounds like it was a conscious decision, a sort of a natural progression of sorts. So why was it important to be on Warped Tour this year?
We just felt like we owed it to not only the record label that put out Lowborn, but we also felt like we owed it to the fans. We wanted to make sure that, you kind of take it as if my favorite band was breaking up, what would I want them to do? I would love to hear another record, just to hear what they were going to put out, their final words, and I would love to, at least have the opportunity to see them one more time. So that's why we're doing Warped Tour and a world tour, and end in the States. And do a tour this fall. So, yeah, that's how we just want to take it from a different viewpoint, not just what we want. We want to take it from the fans' viewpoint.
And fans, I hope you really appreciate that, because a lot of bands, they just break up, disband for whatever reason, and just sort of move on, and they don't take the fans into consideration. So I think that's really awesome that you guys do that. This is the 20th anniversary of Warped Tour. So what were you up to 20 years ago?
I was 7, so probably not much.
Oh, that makes me feel old. Thanks.
It makes you feel better. I was 61. I just applied for AARP. It was great. Oh man, you get discounts, buffet galore. So early bird catches the worms.
Well, thinking back, for you, this will be ahead to when you were a teenager. Okay. What sort of music did you listen to growing up when life as a teen, as it sometimes did, got tough?
Oh man, tons of stuff. I think what kind of really got me into it was my brothers, and it was everything from like Nirvana and MXPX and Green Day and that whole thing. So that's what kind of started it for me. And then even earlier with my dad, he always listened to Leonard Skinner and Crosby, Stills, and Nash. So I kind of grew up listening to that. But what got me playing music was the other stuff from my brothers. So
you're lucky that your family has a good taste in music. Not everyone does.
I'm quite thankful for sure.
My dad loves Julio Iglesias.
Oh, oopsie. Yeah.
Did you grow up listening to Julio?
I did not.
What did you turn to when things were tough?
When things were tough, yeah. I think the biggest ones, probably in the 90s, we all felt like we were angsty against, but we didn't know what against, so Nirvana.
That's really true.
Nirvana, yeah, it's so true. Nirvana spoke to us because we had no idea what they were saying. They were angsty and we didn't know why. We were angsty, we didn't know why. The lyrics were like, load up on guns, bring your friends. You just, sure. That's what we do. Okay, and then I hate this. Everybody, I hate everybody. So
I think you just clarified my youth. Thank you.
that is clarifying all youth. We have no idea why we're pissed, but we just hate it all, you know. So, you know, yeah. So I don't know. That's who I turn to. Pearl Jam. I love Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog. Some good stuff in there.
That is some really good stuff. So getting back to your album, what are some things that you hope to accomplish by the end of this album and tour cycle?
Okay, I'm sorry. You were aiming that way. So something about tour cycle.
What are your goals for the tour? That you hope to accomplish by the end of this tour and album cycle.
Well, as negative and as not appropriate as it is, it's kind of like a doctor tells you, like, hey, you have 6 months to live. And in the same way, we know. I know it's dark, and angsty, like Nirvana. But in the same way, that person, whoever was told that, probably absorbs every moment of life. You know, like they just take it in. Every sunset means something. Being with their friends means something. Being with their family. And though we're not at that point of death, but the band going away, I want to just take it all in. You know, I'm not out to like, oh, let's sell 1 million records. Oh, I can't wait to see thousands of people that come to our show. Numbers don't matter. Nothing matters. What matters is just being with friends and family and making the most of every second.
Agreed.
I'm so good. I've done this for a while.
That's why she gets paid the big bucks.
I could. That would be great. You probably get paid better than I do. Well, as musicians, that could be tough. So looking back over the years, do you have any regrets or would you do anything different?
No, I wouldn't. I really don't think. I mean, again, we did so much more than we thought we'd ever be able to do. So for us, I mean, just even doing that first tour, I think, was like a huge accomplishment. And then getting signed and all that stuff wasn't even like our plan. That's just what happened. It was all about just playing music. So everything since then has just been a plus. So for me, I wouldn't regret anything. I think everything that we've kind of done up to this point was how it was always supposed to go. Even up at the way we're wrapping up this year, I think it was kind of the plan always for Anberlin. So
Good.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I can't think of anything. I mean, even though like there was negative setbacks, like early on, like it just, I don't know what I would change because we're here now. You know, like everything that happened negative to us only strengthened us. You know, like made us better musicians, better friends, all that stuff. So you just can't change that.
Well, that's excellent. How have you seen the music industry change over the years?
There's this new thing called the World Wide Internet. WWI for short, as the insiders call it. That really has just made a significant difference because you're able to commute. You know, the bigger a band gets, there's kind of a broadening. That's fine. That's fine. It's keeps doing that. I'm just kidding. There's a widening chasm between the band and the fan. The bigger the band gets, but I think that's what's so cool about social media is the fact that we can still have some sort of contact through like Facebook or social media and all that stuff. So it is cool. I mean, that's one big advantage.
It's the next step.
yeah. Well, it can be a disadvantage. I agree with all that for sure. It's a great way, but also, it has changed, like just how different it is when I was listening to music and bands I was into. I wasn't able to like contact them immediately if I had like a thought about something. So it kind of makes kids entitled, which is it's cool, but it's strange too. You know what I mean? Hearing every tiny thought about like they're upset that we didn't have a shirt in their side, or just all those things. They're able to like tell the band like directly. So I think there's with anything that big as the internet is as big of an impact as it had. There's good and there's bad. It's kind of like love hate. Sometimes it's great and I'll connect with people, and sometimes it's the worst. So.
No, that's a good point. Now that album sales aren't sort of the pinnacle, be-all, end-all of what makes a band these days, how do you sort of say, this is what success is for us?
I think Nate touched on it earlier. I think that success was the day that we got into a van and we left our hometown. That's success. And because that's what I would hope for anyone. That was the day that we gave up on colleges and jobs and family and friends and just took off and tried to make our own way in the world. And I think that's what's cool about being able to tell my like kids or grandkids, someday just being able to say, listen, follow your dreams and actually mean it. And not because of an album sale, like you said. It's not about numbers again. It's all about just, succeed or fail, I mean, just try. You know, I got to get into a van and I left town. Just try. And that to me is the definition of success, because I feel like there are a lot of people out there that are so worried about following their dreams because they're just scared to fail. And it's not worth it. Just try. You know, who cares if you fail? This life is way too short to be so safe and never have accomplished anything.
And we all fail at something. It's bound to happen.
All the time. Constantly.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Agreed. Can you tell me a little bit about the creation and the work that you do with Faceless International?
Sure. Faceless International actually folded into Nashville Rescue, but either way, they're both humanitarian organizations that really just fight human trafficking. Just an epidemic in this world that is just is whether it's not talked about enough or whether people just don't want to talk about it. Either way, it's really sad, the fact that we have more slaves in the United States right now than at the pinnacle of the Civil War, and that is, to me, is just disheartening. And so, you know, whether people get involved with the fight against human trafficking or illiteracy or poverty or whatnot, I just hope that in some way people can kind of go out there and find their own cause and attempt to make a difference.
I agree with that.
I agree.
Our sister website, we merge music with the charities and causes that bands support. So definitely check that out, folks. So what are you going to do next?
Well, I mean, I'll always play music in some fashion, play on people's records or whatever. But I'm starting a coffee place with my brother-in-law, and it's going to be coffee, beer, and wine, but it'll be in Tampa, Florida. And then, we'll hopefully start in beginning of 2015. So we've been working on it for the last year and a half, kind of getting it all in order and kind of getting it ready. So
Great.
yeah.
What are you going to be doing next?
I'm going to be applying for a job to be a barista or serve beer and wine in Tampa, Florida. So if you know anybody hiring.
I mean, I'll look over your resume, he says. Nice. The things you don't catch on this microphone, but I do. You know, Jay-Z has retired a few times. Are you sure?
I didn't know
4 or 5 times he said, "I'm done. I'm leaving the rap game."
Really?
Yeah. So
Assumes president label of being president.
and makes billions of dollars and marries Beyonce. So I mean, there's hope. Any chance of a reunion tour way down the line?
If I could afford the Brooklyn Nets like Jay-Z, maybe. Until that point, no. I don't think so. I think that for a lot of for me personally, and I'm sure everybody has their own. I think Nate agrees. There's a legacy that you build over 12 years, and what people envision in their heads as Anberlin. We want to keep that there, and I feel like coming back in 5-10 years, it just loses the luster. It loses the mystery. It loses everything that you had built up in your head. And I think the only way that we would come together would perhaps be someday if we all have kids and they want to see us all play together, we might meet up in Tampa and play through old songs, just families or friends. That's what I want to do. Just to experience that and be back with the guys. You know, that to me is fun. But but it will never be for a monetary purpose. There will never be let's hit the road again. If anything, it'll be maybe a festival in Australia because we all want to go on a holiday together, or vacation together. But there's never going to be a point where we're going to get back together and be, remember the old days when we just, because that's gone. We don't want that, So if it's not for purposes of just being together as friends and family, then there's no purpose.
Well, make sure you catch Anberlin either at Warped Tour or on their world tour. They're going out on a very high note. This is Jackie. Thanks to All Access and In the Key of Change.